Hey guys, Nicole here over at Obscure Reptiles and Caging. Today we're going to be talking about prolapses and ball pythons, so let's get started. Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about prolapses and ball pythons. Today we have Mateo here with us. He's a 6-year-old male ball python. He's a blue-eyed Lucy, a super lesser for people learning genetics. And when we got him as a hatchling 6 years ago, he had a prolapse the day we got him. So we took him to the vet. We did everything right. We took him to the vet. He got this prolapse surgery, which a prolapse is when intestines are actually hanging out of their vents. Sometimes in males it'll be their inverted hemipenes, but most of the time we're just going to be talking, and for this situation, we're going to be talking about intestines. So his intestines were hanging out. Took him to the vet, got the surgery, they removed any of the part that was dead, and they sewed him back shut. A few days later, they have to take the stitches out, so they did, and then the next meal I gave him, a couple of weeks later, very small pinky, happened again. Took him for the surgery, and it kept repeating. So I personally went online, started doing research, and unfortunately there's not much information online about prolapses in ball pythons. You can find a couple things about green tree pythons and a few things of what a prolapse is, but not really how to fix it other than a surgery. And I would always say go to your vet first. But for me, it wasn't working, and I didn't have the money. It's about a $600 surgery to keep going. So this is what I did and I found works. But definitely talk to a vet or take your animal to a vet first before doing anything. But for Mateo here, you'll find online it tells you to make a sugar water mixture. Something like this ends up looking like a thick paste. It actually will take down the swelling of the intestines. So right around here you'll see some pink hanging out. And what you do is you coat it and leave it there for a couple of minutes and then thoroughly rinse it off because it's going to take down that swelling, make it easier. Make sure the entire time you're wearing gloves because infection is the worst thing that can happen. That's how an animal can actually die, especially one, if it becomes an infection, or two, if it's the intestines start to die. But I was keeping a really close eye on him, and I actually saw when the intestines came out, so I knew nothing had died yet. It had fresh and it just happened. So first of all, you're going to want to make sure you're massaging the stomach. You're making room for the intestines. So all the way down his belly, a good amount, you're going to be pinching and really tugging and pulling because you're making room to push the intestines back in. He was so small when this happened. We had a Q-tip with a whole bunch of Neosporin on it, and we were just pushing a little in at a time and then stopping it so it can't fall out, working our way down, working some more room in there, and keep pushing until it's all the way in. There are a few videos that will tell you how to do that, but then the problem is, 10 minutes later they can push it back out, or next time they have to use the bathroom, it pushes back out, and that's when you get into the trouble. So personally, what I did, I went out and I got some super glue. Regular old super glue. Now what I did was, when he was a baby and he was getting these prolapses, I would have someone helps when you have an extra hand, and I would glue half of his vent shut. So I put one little dab of super glue right here and just leave it. Make sure it completely dried, holding him up sideways, wait till it was fully dry, about 10 minutes. And then once we were completely dry, I'd let him go about his day, give him a couple of days off, and then I would go to feed him a very tiny meal. Like, we're talking, if he was on a large mouse, I'd still give him like a pinky or a fuzzy, just because we just don't want to push those intestines too quickly. So by putting the super glue on, he can't push it out when he goes to the bathroom. So it ended up working really well, and every time he would shed, I would let it fully shed, I'd give him a nice soak, all that kind of stuff, and then reapply the super glue. And I did that for a couple of months to make sure he had enough time for his intestines to build back up. Online, very hard to find good information about that. This is just what I've done. Definitely always take your animal to the vet first, especially when it comes to something like that, because they can die, they can get infections. I was very on him, checking for that prolapse all the time, and I literally saw it come out when I did the first super glue round, and I just kept it up ever since, and he hasn't had any issues like that ever since. Okay guys, that was just a quick little video on how to fix a prolapse in a ball python. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn that bell icon on for more videos like this, and we'll be posting more in the future. So have a good one, guys.